Hey, what's up, Black Hollywood Live? Welcome to the Red Table Talk After Show. On this episode, we're discussing unconventional relationships. Polyamory. What is it? Is it for you? Find out. Stay tuned.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Black Hollywood Live, the after show for the Red Table Talk. You know, on today's show, we're going to talk about polyamory and unconventional relationships. But before we even get into all of that, I gotta intro my co-host.
Oh my goodness, wow, thank you.
What's up, Tyler?
What's up, Tyler?
Listen, I don't think I've ever been on a show with another Tyler, so high five.
High five
Boom.
to that, yes.
Tyler's rule.
Tyler's do rule.
So on today's episode, you know, Adrienne, Jada, and Willow, they didn't waste any time jumping into the subject of polyamory, and they literally go there like immediately.
Yeah.
So what are your overall thoughts of the entire episode?
I was well informed.
Okay.
That's for sure. I learned a lot. I was with Gammy a lot of this episode. I felt like I had my own preconceived notions of what it was before watching it. And then by the end of it, I had a whole new mindset.
Okay.
What about you?
Listen, so it's one of those things where I had heard of polyamory before, but I wasn't quite sure exactly. So I feel like I was Jada.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite sure exactly what it was, but I learned a lot in this episode. So I feel like my stance is pretty much the same because I'm pretty open on things. But
yes.
Yeah. Overall, I just think it was a dope episode.
Me too.
So let's jump into these topics, y'all. The first thing is polyamory. What is it? So they broke it literally at the top of the show. If you remember, they broke it down verbatim what polyamory is. And basically, polyamory is being in a committed relationship with 3 or more individuals.
Yes.
I mean, right off the bat, just on that, before you watched this episode, was this something that you were like, oh yeah, I definitely subscribe to this type of life? Or were you like, you know what? Nah.
Well, I knew it wasn't for me. As far as what I knew before watching this episode, I knew it wasn't for me. After watching the episode, I still don't think it's for me, but you know, never say never.
Oh, yeah.
It is interesting though, and polyamory, like she was explaining in the beginning, is different from polygamy, which I think, like she was saying, people get them confused.
Yes, you think it's like the crazy well, let me not call anybody crazy. You think it's the weird situation or situation you might agree with where like more than one person has multiple wives. It's not that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's an open relationship, but everyone is on the same page.
Exactly.
And everyone has their own separate connection to each other, which I think is really interesting. And that's where I was like, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah. So what I appreciated the most about this episode is that they not only broke down what polyamory is, but then they told you what it wasn't so that you weren't confused. Like you said, they made sure that you knew that it was not polygamy. It's also not swinging, whereas swinging is a couple deciding that they're just going to have multiple sexual partners. Like it's neither of those things.
Right.
Like this literally is a couple deciding that we're both going to be in a relationship with someone else. So when they invited the couple, well, the throuple.
The throuple.
A throuple, by the way,
Yes.
they defined that, which is three people in a relationship. There's also a quadruple, which is 4. I mean, you get it.
Yeah.
When they brought them on, they introduced themselves as Thomas, and then Kathy, his wife, and then Nicole, his girlfriend. And then Kathy said, and that's my girlfriend also. So,
Whew. Yeah. It was a lot, but they seem like they just flow really well together. And I thought it was interesting that Thomas and Kathy have been married for like 8 years, and Nicole was kind of new to the whole thing, but she had been with a couple in the past, so she knew how it all works. But Kathy was talking about how she has her own relationship with Nicole as women, and then there's Thomas, who she has a relationship, you know, with a man, and they're 2 different things. And you think about it, because if you have guy friends and girlfriends, they help you in different ways. And that's why I was like, you know what? Wow.
So in that one situation, because I am not inserting myself into this, because I don't know how much information I want y'all to know about me, but just to insert myself slightly into that situation, the only thing that would be a problem for me is the whole, this one is the wife, this one is the girlfriend. Because if I'm in the position, clearly I would never be the girlfriend. But if I'm the boyfriend on the side, I'm never going to be the husband. That will bother me. That will bother my self-esteem. That will bother, that's the only thing really. I mean, there's some other stuff, but that's the big part of it that would kind of prevent me from going down that road too far.
Yeah. And I guess that's where the communication comes in and where everyone has to be on the same page, because like you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with just being the girlfriend, and that's it. I don't know if I would be okay with that either, honestly.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I'm not second. I have to be number one. If I'm not number one, I can't do it. But okay, so Willow, going into our second topic, Willow brought up a great point. Talking about the difference between monogamy and I almost said polygamy and polyamory, and that is, she feels like monogamy, especially marriage, is kind of likened unto ownership. People feel like this is, and we even say this is my girlfriend, my wife. My indicates you belong to me.
Yes.
And then she even gave some history, which I thought was dope. Which she talked about back in the day. Married, you didn't marry for love. You married for opportunity, for comfort.
Yes.
Those are the things, and there are plenty of people that do that today, and we look at them as gold diggers and trifling and all of that, but that was essentially the way marriage was set up. And so Willow just feels like, I want to be in a situation where I'm free to decide every aspect of it. And so when she broke it down like that, I had never thought about marriage as ownership, but when she said it like that, I was like, that's you kind of... Girl, you better be dope.
You're right.
Yeah.
You better read. You can tell she
You better read. Yes, you better read a book or two. Come on, and some pamphlets. Come on.
And some pamphlets. She was teaching us all, and she is 18 years old. She's young, but she knows some stuff, and that's true. I never thought about it like that. She actually described it as marriage being a monetary exchange. So yeah, it all comes back to money, but I don't think that most people see it that way. I think they think of it as just having this person to themselves, and they don't want to share that person. But they kept going back to sex in this conversation. I think it always comes back to sex somehow.
Oh, and we're going to go there on this show. Don't you worry. It's coming. It's coming. Yes, absolutely.
But it's not wanting to share someone sexually is what I feel like people have a really big issue with, is the whole sex thing. But yeah, you got to be okay with it if you're going to be in a... Well, actually, no, because not everyone in polyamorous relationships are sexual.
Right. And they touched on that also. Jada, Willow, she said that most of the time when people hear that she is interested in this, or they meet someone that is in that type of relationship, they automatically go to, oh, this is a sexual situation. And she said most of the time it's not. And Jada, well, I'll tell you what, Jada, because one of the things I'm going to teach you, Jada, I feel like she was really open in this episode. She talked about whether or not she and Will have been in this type of relationship, if she could ever be in this type of relationship, has there ever been history of a threesome? All of that Jada talks about, but I'm going to tell you about it later because I need y'all to stick around to the end of this video. But they did talk about that it's not about a sexual thing. Sometimes it's literally just the emotional connection that you have with someone.
Yeah.
I don't... As open as I am with my thinking, I already I don't have an issue with marriage, but I do say if that day comes and I do get married, I don't think that I would want to involve other people. Not like that.
Me neither. And I was thinking while I was watching this episode was, okay, if I have a husband, what would be the difference between having a girlfriend on the side and then just having my best friend there as my emotional being and my emotional support? Because why does she have to be my girlfriend as well, sharing my husband with me?
Well, I think because in my mind, like I said, I have no experience with this. I feel like I need to preface that every time because I speak so matter of fact as if I just have all the experience in the world. But I think what it is that you want the freedom to do whatever. So like your best friend, I'm assuming your best friend isn't cuddling with you at night. You know, you and your best friend probably won't share, even if it's not like a whole sexual experience, y'all won't share a kiss.
Right.
But in this type of situation, y'all could, if that's how you felt. And I think what Willow was saying is that she just wants and appreciates the freedom to venture off into that world.
Yeah.
That's the best I can kind of make of it.
Makes sense.
there's something I want to touch back on. So I'll come back to the marriage and ownership thing a little bit later on in the show. But moving on, another thing that really it didn't spark interest, but it affirmed something that I already thought. And it was when Adrienne, which is Jada's mother, she asked, can you be in love with more than one person? And the dope part, I love how open they are in this show.
Me too. They're so open. I love it.
Adrienne even said, when she gave her answer, well, first, I'm going to ask you, do you think you can be in love with two people? And she even said at the same time.
At the same time. I guess it's possible. It's possible. But, for example, if someone's in a monogamous relationship and they're in love with that person, but they're also in love with someone else, that just would mean they're not acting on that love, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I guess someone could be in love with two people.
So I believe that you can, without question. You can be in love with two people at the same time. I believe there are a bazillion people on the face of this earth. So I do believe that you have more than one soulmate. It's just all about timing and if you connect with that person. So when she asked that, she used Will and Jada as an example because as all of you know that follow Will and Jada, and I think we all follow them because we love them, Will had a whole family before he met Jada. And when Jada came along, that family ended. I don't think he cheated on her with Jada or anything, but that family technically ended, but they were still very much so a part of their life. You see his oldest son, Trey, you see his mom, Cherie, at family picnics, at all of these different events. They are just as important a part of his life and his family as Willow, Jayden, and Jada.
Yes.
So I thought it was dope that she even brought that up right then and there. So what do you think about that? Because those of us, when you get to a certain age, once you really get 25 and up, the likelihood of you dating someone that has kids, essentially you're kind of going in that lane, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the term throuple is fairly new, but I feel like it's been going on for a really long time. Like you said, people have always dated other people who've had kids, and you've had to be in some sort of relationship with that child's mom or their father. So her referring to her throuple with Cherie, that was a perfect example because it's not sexual. It's just there is some sort of emotional relationship there, and I'm sure she can count on her for a lot of things. So yeah, it's possible to have a non-sexual throuple for sure.
Well, I think what they call it in some circles, they call it the blended family when they're trying to sound all sophisticated and educated, and it's the blended family. But really, like you said, it's a throuple.
Yeah,
it's a non-sexual throuple, but a throuple nonetheless. So I just asked because we make a big deal. Well, people tend to make a big deal about this, and it's but if you think about it, Fantasia did a whole song, Baby Mama. Yeah. How many R&B, hip hop, country, whatever songs do we sing about? Yeah, my wife and I didn't make it. Now I got my girl, and everybody has to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
For the betterment of the child. So it's been going on forever. It's just a new name.
It is a new name, and I don't know if maybe a throuple in that situation is two baby mothers who get along well, because say they didn't get along and they didn't talk, that would not be a throuple.
That would not.
Yeah, that would just be drama. But
that is what we call baby mama drama. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. You're absolutely right. These 90 terms are making a comeback.
They are. Yeah. They're coming back. But yes, I love that she brought that up. I was going to bring up something else. Oh, this is just a side note. I thought that it was really interesting and amazing that Jada mentioned that it's okay if Willow decides to go that route. We love them because they're so supportive.
Oh, yes.
And I expect nothing less. I knew she was going to say that at some point.
Yeah, so this is the thing that I love, not just about this show, but about the family. Because, you can't talk about the show without talking about the family because it's the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter. It's about the family. But I love that they're just so open. They have always been open. Jayden at one point, remember, was wearing, skirts, and people were in a whole uproar on the fact that he was wearing, tights under a skirt. And Willow has almost since the beginning, she's only 18, but she's been in our lives since she was 4 or 5. But ever since she really kind of evolved into identifying her sexuality, she's always said, I'm bisexual, or, I prefer a man and a woman. So, and they aren't bashing her. They're not like making her feel, either one of them. No. They have made public statements saying that we allow our children to do whatever they want. Yes. Now the public has said some things, but they're like, I don't care what you say.
Right.
This is what my child wants. And I love the openness of this conversation that they have at this red table.
Me too. And with Gammy at the red table, she was very...
the OG of the group. She's like everybody's grandma. She might not look like everybody's grandma. Nope. But she's letting y'all know, this ain't for me.
This is not for me. And she made it clear that she didn't understand it, and she asked questions. And I love that they were patient with letting her just kind of like...
feel her own way,
yeah. Like just slowly start to understand. And she did. She came around at the end and understood more.
So one of the things I want to mention was divorce. So don't let me forget the divorce. But the thing that I think is most important about this particular episode, and I wish the entire country could see it, because if... what happened with Gammy is exactly what every racist person, every person that's like on the extreme side of any political spectrum, whether you're Democrat or Republican, if you're on the extreme of either side and you're unwilling to listen to, learn from others, this conversation was a perfect example of how this can happen in a civilized, educated, nice American way, and you can walk away from it still maybe disagreeing, but being like, you know what, I understand a little bit more. So I'm not gonna judge you, I'm not gonna treat you like crap, I'm not gonna be prejudiced towards you. It's still not for me, but I understand why it's for you.
Yes.
And I wish everyone would just watch this just for that one lesson.
Yeah, I wish they would too. And there's not to say that there's not enough videos in the world and movies in the world that people can watch to understand, but I think it's just taking a second and like taking yourself out of the equation and just putting yourself in someone else's shoes and listening without judgment.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. Yeah. She didn't have judgment. She just kind of sat there and listened to what they had to say, and then kind of just let her mind, go there.
Yeah. You have to talk less. Listen more, talk less. That's a line in Hamilton. I didn't make that up.
Bravo.
That's in Hamilton. So I wish I could take credit for that, but I can't.
That was good.
So what I was going to say about divorce, and one of the things that both Jada and Willow also talked about with going into this polyamory route is the fact that the divorce rate is so high. And so maybe the generation right before us did things the conventional way, but the generations after, we were all just kind of like, yeah, this doesn't seem like it works. So I feel like the younger, especially millennials and younger, are definitely more open to this idea of open relationships, open marriages, polyamory, like whatever, because it's like, what's the point in putting myself in this situation where I'm committed, allegedly committed, locked into this marriage with this one person. And to me, it's like, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't. When you have all of these can'ts, what happens? Yeah. Eventually, you get to a point where you get tired of people telling you, no, you can't do something, and you do it. And then here we are with the divorce rate.
It's true. It is true. But do you think that the rise in polyamorous relationships has come with social media and there being this like endless supply of options?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. I think that social media is a beautiful thing. I mean, listen, look at all of us here. But the downside to social media is twofold. One, everyone has a platform. Everyone now feels like, regardless of my experience, regardless of my education, regardless of anything, I have the right to say anything about anything. And it can be racist, it can be whatever, it can be harmful, it can be unpatriotic, it can be, but I have the right to say it, and they do. So that's one of the downfalls. And then also with this whole dating thing, I've always felt like the more you're exposed to more people, the more likely you are to find people that excite you. So we're back in the day, taking it back to the 90s where we were kids, you might have had like a chat line, like you could call, or, you went on dates with groups or something, but that was the extent. There was no social media. Nope. You weren't able to connect with someone in London and Paris and wherever, have models at your fingertips, have the guy that you've always been crushing on at your fingertips, sliding in your DMs. Like, there's just so many options.
So many.
And then you add in Tinder and all these others where you can just swipe left if you like, it's just too easy now.
It is too easy. And I want to play devil's advocate. But when it comes to a polyamorous relationship, could someone argue that because you are open to having that other person on the side, maybe you're just not ready to commit to one person? Like, maybe this is just a phase.
That's possible. Listen, there are so many possibilities, because another possibility to this is if you are at a point where you're able to engage in any type of relationship, whether that's sexual, emotional, what have you, with someone outside of your marriage, and that person excites you more than the husband or the wife or whatever, then really maybe it's that's not who you're supposed to be married to.
Right.
So there's an argument for that too. But then there's also an argument that says, no, maybe they are supposed to be married to that person. It's just that that person doesn't fulfill every single thing and doesn't have to.
Yeah. And they did bring that up about having someone else because they both fulfill two different needs, whether it be emotional or mental stability, sexual, whatever it is. So yeah, there's so many different reasons why.
The only thing about this episode that kind of made a look like y'all will learn, I am always good for a red flag. I pay attention to everything. And for me, in order for me to then make a decision that like, oh, well, this is this, or there have to be a whole bunch of things checked off of a list. So one of the things that were checked off of this list that kind of made me give the couple a little bit of a side eye was the fact that Kathy and Thomas, they had been together for 8 years, married for 5, and somewhere along, but they had only been with this girlfriend for 9 months. So that means that they didn't go into this thing saying we're going to be polyamorous and this is just who we are as people. They evolved to this state. So my question is, well, what happened along the way? What happened along the way where y'all were like, you know what, this monogamy thing isn't really working? Like, and they kind of addressed it and said that wasn't the case, but to me, the facts say otherwise. So that's the only thing that's kind of making it go,
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. And for them I remember them saying that they started off when they got married, they were monogamous. Like, nobody knew that this was going to happen. They were only monogamous for a year before they started having other partners. Yeah. Which, it's strange, what happened between the marriage and then within that year that made you feel like, oh, now I'm open to have someone else.
But then they also said that one of the things that made them realize that might have been something they needed to explore was that they would get excited when the other would get hit on by anyone. And so I'm going to ask you, does that excite you if your guy is getting hit on by someone else? And I'll let you think for a minute because I just dropped this on you. I just dropped
the bomb on top of me. Yes.
I'm gonna say for me, I definitely enjoy it.
Okay.
But to a certain extent, though, like I think every guy, if you walk in with a girl on your arm, yes, you want your guys friends to be like, yeah, he did it on this one. Like, yay, she's fly. And then you want your friends that are girls to be like, you know what? I really want to hate her, but I can't. Like, she's just dope. Like, you do enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I have a friend and she's going to kill me. I'm not going to say your name. Okay. But she and her husband have been married for a while. She hates that her husband gets hit on all the time. And it's not just he's not gay or anything, but he gets hit on by women. But then in 2019, you can't make any assumptions. So it's no longer, oh, well, you look like this, you talk like this, so you must be. So he does get hit on by guys. Not that he, quote unquote, acts or looks gay. Yeah. It's just the nature that we're in. But she hates both. She hates it.
Well, I'm with you. I think I like it to a certain extent. Obviously, there's a line there, that you just don't want anybody to cross. But I think it goes back to security and confidence. Like, whoever you're with, I'm sure you're secure with that relationship. And you know that it's a compliment. I mean, that just means your girl is beautiful. And for me, it means my guy's beautiful, whatever. But for some people, I think they feel threatened. And maybe that's why she feels that way. But yeah, they did mention that. They get excited. I wouldn't say excited. I don't think excited is the word I would use for that. I feel flattered.
Flattered is a better word. That's the word. Flattered is the word. Yes. Well, listen, the last topic is polyamory, all about sex. I think we already talked about that. So I want to jump into some of these special segments.
segments. Okay, let's do this. So first, we're going to do Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So if this is your first time with us this beautiful Monday, we do this segment called Mr. and Mrs. Smith where we just kind of enlighten you guys on everything news having to do with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Smith family. So this week, I'm going to be talking about Willow's release. She just released a self-titled album.
Yes, okay.
Called Willow. You can see her album cover there.
Love it.
This is her third album. She's been making music ever since 2010 with Whip My Hair.
I remember. That's when I learned.
Yeah.
I did my hair back before.
Right.
Listen, that's in this phone right now. Just saying.
You got to have it in there. And she's kind of been growing with all of us as she's gotten older. She says that this new album is the closest to her. It reflects her the most out of all of her albums. It was released about a week and a half ago, July 19th. So if you haven't listened to it, go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. Next, Will Smith is going to be bringing us a new movie. And as you guys know, Will Smith is an amazing actor. This new movie is called Gemini Man. It'll be in theaters October 11th in 2D and 3D.
Okay.
The trailer looks great.
Does it?
The trailer looks great.
Because Will is on this quest for this Oscar, and I support it. He should have had an Oscar a long time ago, so I hope this is a great movie.
Yes. That's so true. He hasn't had one.
He doesn't have one.
Wow. Yeah. Name your favorite Will Smith movie.
Oh, I Am Legend.
Really?
I Am Legend is still my favorite movie. I Am Legend and I, Robot are like neck and neck for me, but I think I Am Legend is the one. And it's because of the dog.
The dog sold you.
I love it. Listen, I love dogs.
Me too. I would say my favorite is Pursuit of Happiness.
I haven't seen it.
Get out.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's so good. Next time you have a chance, you should watch it.
Yeah.
And then our last piece of news, Jayden and Justin Bieber were caught filming a music video together a few days ago in North Hollywood. Nobody knows what this music video is, what song it's for, but Jayden did tweet out saying that this new music video I'm about to drop will show you all how I really feel. How do you feel about this collaboration?
Well, I don't know how I feel about the collaboration, but I absolutely love Jayden Smith. I love this. I keep telling y'all I love this family. I love Jayden. He's I love anyone that's unapologetically them, whether I agree with anything they do or not. I love anybody that can just be themselves, and I just think Jayden is the epitome of that. He didn't have to grow into it. He has just always been who he is, and I just think that is so freaking dope. So I love Jayden Smith.
I agree with you. I agree. He's
Iconic is still a banger also, by the way.
Yes, he's an amazing artist, and he's so young. He's going to grow up and be even more amazing. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to team up with the Biebs. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Why not?
Yeah.
They've been friends for a really long time, so this will be interesting.
All right, I'm all for it.
Stay tuned for that. Our last segment is Real Talk, and in Real Talk, it'll always be different. But this time we're going to play a game.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a term, and these terms are used in the polyamorous community.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
So some of them are a little bit more obvious than others, but I want you to tell me what you think they mean.
Don't judge me by my answers.
No judgment.
Okay, this is a judgment-free zone.
Yes, it is. Okay, for the first one, what do you think ethical non-monogamy means?
Ethical non-monogamy.
Break it down.
So non-monogamy obviously means that you're not in a relationship with one person. You're not committed to one person. So ethical non-monogamy to me would mean that maybe it's non-sexual, and it's just it's what I would call talking to. If I'm talking to someone and I'm semi-exclusively talking to, like, we haven't made it official, we're not having sex, but it's just me and you.
Okay. That's a good guess. And it makes sense. But that's not it.
That's all I got.
Good try.
And where's the buzzer? Where's that?
So the answer is ethical non-monogamy is the practice of engaging in multiple sexual and or romantic.
There's nothing ethical about this, but go ahead.
And or romantic relationships simultaneously with the consent and knowledge of all parties.
So it's being in a relationship and basically telling my significant other I'm going to have sex with this person and then going and doing it.
It's basically everybody is on the same page. So non-monogamy, you're right. It's not being with one person. It's multiple people. Ethical, you kind of think of it as doing the right thing. So we're all in the know.
We're just all open and honest about everything that we're doing.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So you almost have.
Not really. I was on the other side of the street. I got you.
But the opposite would be unethical, which is cheating.
Gotcha.
Okay. So the next one, fluid bonding.
The bonding is what threw me off. I got the fluid. The fluid to me means it's both ways. Like there's no, when you're fluid, you can go with whatever happens. There aren't any rules. It can be men, it can be women, it can be whatever.
Okay.
I have no idea. With the bonding thing, listen, if y'all really want me to go there, the bonding thing means that there's some handcuffs involved, there's a rope, there's something involved, and I am not, well, let me take myself out of the equation. And this person is not able to move. I don't know. What is it?
That was a good guess. But no.
Thank you. There it is.
There it is.
You're going to use that button a lot.
It is. So fluid bonding is choosing to not use barrier of protection during sex with a partner. So it's unprotected sex.
So why does it have to be called fluid bonding? Why not just unprotected sex?
As in fluids. Bodily fluids.
I'm not going. My brain is in work mode. It's not in this other mode. Gotcha.
It's okay. That's fine.
Just unprotected sex, though. Y'all trying to get too creative with these. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's definitely not just for monogamous relationships or polyamorous relationships.
It sounds very dangerous. That is not for me.
Yeah,
Yes, that sound effect. Exactly.
Definitely a dangerous activity, but it happens. And yeah.
Okay.
So next one, compersion.
I have no idea. Compersion?
It's a weird word.
I don't even know what that word means, so I can't even take a stab. Give me the buzzer, because I can't even take a stab at that one.
So we actually talked about this already, and this is the opposite of jealousy. So this is when you experience joy, when your significant other is experiencing joy, getting attention, or is sexually aroused.
Oh, well then yes, I subscribe to that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right. You want one more?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm learning today.
So do you know what the difference is between a primary partner and a secondary partner?
I would like to say yes, but based on my history of this game, I'm going to say no.
Okay. So a primary partner is usually a lot more close. They are a lot more interconnected. They have...
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
The actual words, it's the main person.
Exactly.
The one that gets the most of you.
They get the most of you. They're involved in the financial decisions. Secondary partner has a lot less responsibility, and a lot of times they just are, not a lot of times, but they are the sexual partner to a lot of people. They're just the secondary partner.
Monica, once again, I give y'all some old school terms. Monica had a term for that secondary person.
What was it?
You are a sideline.
Ding.
I'm gonna let y'all fill in the blank. Starts with the H. Santa Claus says it. You can figure it out from there.
What a great hint.
Yeah, I mean, you got it from there, right? Do I need a dictionary you want to draw it on? Oh, okay.
We got it.
Okay.
We definitely got it.
I love this, though. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you learned some stuff.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
All right. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot on this show.
Yes.
Another thing that we didn't do it this episode just because it's the first one out of the gate. We want you guys to get used to us and kind of see how the show flows. But we're also going, just like on the Red Table Talk, we're going to have something like a fishbowl. There will be some type of contraption. We got to see what the budget is. Some type of contraption to pull questions out of, and we're going to have a little round table just like they do at the end of every show, just like they do on the Red Table Talk. So y'all can look forward to that also.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So was there anything else in this episode that we did not discuss? I mean, we have note after note after note.
Let's see.
I feel like we covered it.
We talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, we covered it.
I like that Thomas brought up the stereotype that men have as far as other men having multiple wives or multiple partners, and that it is all about sex, and they kind of think of it as like this macho thing, but he said it's not like that, and he actually hates it, which was interesting.
Well, let me also ask you this, since we have a little extra time. Do you think that just in 2019 and moving forward, this is just the new normal? Is polyamory the new normal? Is it because you know, a lot of times people the older generation loves to criticize the youngins. And for me, I mean, I know I'm not old. I know you're not old, but when I say young, I'm talking like 22 and younger. They love to say that, you know, they just don't like to commit to things, or they can't commit to things. Social media, whatever, has gotten them to a place where they can't commit. Do you think this is just the new normal, or do you think this is just like one of those fads?
I guess neither. I think that it'll always be there. There will be a community for it. Some people will gravitate towards, you know, living their lives that way, but I don't think it'll become the new normal. I feel that most people are not okay with having multiple partners and prefer to just have their one partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you?
I agree. I think it's a little bit of the same. I don't think it's going to be the quote unquote new normal. I don't think there's going to be this mad dash of people that then decide that they're going to be in a polyamorous relationship. I don't think any of that. I just think that that's something that's semi-new, or at least it's at a place now where people want to talk about it. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's kind of been going on. I mean, like we said, Cherie, Jada, and Will have been doing this since like 96. So it definitely is not new for them. So, you know, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So I will say, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of the Red Table Talk After Show. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, you guys can find me on Instagram at Miss Tyler Simone, and then on YouTube, if you want to, at Tyler McKinney.
Yeah, and of course, you can follow me on all social media at the Tyler Tyson. I do want you guys to chat with us in the chat room. You can send us your questions and all of that, and they will appear here on the show, and we will answer most, if not all, of your questions. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in again, and we will see y'all again next week.
Bye.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your